What's going on, guys? It's Afraid Not, and welcome back to Titanfall. First of all, I just want to touch up on I've gained a few subscribers over the last 3 days. I think it's bordering about 100 actually, which is quite surprising because my upload schedule has been all over the place, and I'm not going to keep going into that. But yeah, my upload schedule has been all over the place, and I've been working quite actively trying to get some subscribers, trying to get my name out there a little bit more. If some of you guys didn't know, I uploaded onto another channel, which was FPS Finest. I'll link it in the description so you guys can check it out. But first of all, I just want to welcome all the new subs. I hope you enjoy your stay. Have a look around. There might be something on this channel that you might enjoy, or you might not, you know. But yeah, welcome, and I hope you do enjoy your stay. I know I've already said that. But anyway, moving on to the topic of the video. Well, I did have one. I actually wrote a load of notes down, and I don't know what I've done with them. Like, I've just completely lost them. I think from work to home. I don't know. There was a couple of things that I wanted to touch up on. One of them being E3 especially. It's actually coming up. I didn't realise how quick it is going to be. I think it's in June. If you guys don't know, E3 is a gaming convention, if you want to call it that. It's basically like a marketing program, an event where EA, Activision, all the publishers all get together and they announce their up and coming releases to the world. So it's an event that I absolutely love watching. I think it's a 3-day thing, and they live stream it generally, sort of like 6 o'clock our time. I think it starts over in the States about sort of, I think 10 o'clock in the morning, which is about 6 o'clock my time. So I love watching it. I love seeing all the new games, all the new trailers, and I think E3 this year is going to be a big one. I've got a massive feeling. Obviously, next gen consoles have just dropped on us. I think Xbox need to really pull it out the bag this year, because last year was a complete disaster when it comes to because I think after the Sony conference, Xbox brought out their conference, or it was the other way around, but Sony absolutely smashed it, and they were, well, I mean, the records show at the moment that they've just sold so many more consoles, and I think Xbox need to do, they have kind of done a U-turn, but I think they need to come out this E3, and I think Xbox need to not mention the Kinect. In fact, they just can't mention it again. They can't. It's something that it's there. It's not very popular with the gaming market. It really isn't. I just feel like they just cannot mention it in E3. Another thing they can't mention is Netflix and all the movie stuff. They need to have it completely focused on gaming. That's what Sony done last year, and as I said, like, the records show that, you know, that was the right thing to do, especially to appeal to the mass market. Now, talking about games specifically, there's a few games that I drew up in my notes which I've lost, but I'll try and think of them, which I'd like to see announced, at least a trailer or something. I don't know, this is no fact. I don't know if any of these are actually planned or anything. But I'd love to see something like, obviously, Call of Duty. That's planned to come out this year. I'd like to see the trailer. I'd like to see what Sledgehammer have got to offer this year. I'd like to see what Rockstar are going to come out with for next gen. I'm hoping, fingers crossed, that it's a Red Dead Redemption 2. Red Dead Redemption, the first one, was a game that I loved playing, enjoyed every minute of it. It was just like, I like Western films, so having that in game form, especially a Grand Theft Auto-esque, like, it was just a perfect game for me. I absolutely loved it, and I hope they bring out a second one, preferably for next gen consoles. I'm hoping to see at E3 this year a massive push on next gen. I think that games obviously going to have to still come out for the 360. So many people have got the 360, and it's absolutely too soon to be cutting off all the ends for it. But my only problem with that is that it's going to be holding back the next gen consoles. Where I've bought an Xbox One, I've got a PS4, and obviously I've got a PC, and I want these consoles to be done, games to be made for them to be absolutely at their full capacity. And another argument that I had the other day is that people were saying about 1080p and 60 frames a second, and saying, oh, that's quite difficult. It's not. With the technology that we've got at the moment, it's absolutely minimum. In my head, I think a minimum requirement for next gen consoles, which is the Xbox One, PS4, it has to be 1080p 60 frames per second, and they should be aiming to go more than that. I'm hoping. I've even seen, I noticed on my Xbox One box, I think last week, I looked at the box, so I've still got the box for it, and it actually mentions 4K on there. Now, 4K is something that really hasn't happened yet, but it will happen, I'm sure it will. But if it's saying 4K, Titanfall 760 frames a second, or whatever, 760p, sorry, or whatever it is. It's nowhere near 1080p. So how can you be advertising 4K for an Xbox One? I don't get it. But I think that Xbox really do need to come out in E3 and really push it. And we also need to see a lot more games in 1080p on the Xbox One, because as it stands, I think there's only 2. I've got one of them, and that's Forza 5. There is another game I'm sure that is in 1080p, but as it stands, it only seems like there's only one game out for it. So yeah, and it's quite frustrating. I thought the next gen consoles were just going to be like a mini PC, which they should have been. They should have like full-blown graphics cards in, and it just seems I'm not very technical, so really I shouldn't really be commenting on it, but I just feel like these next gen consoles, both of them to be fair, are a little underwhelming. PS4 in my head is much better technically, but yeah, that's enough of that. Let's get back to E3. Another couple of titles I'd love to see announced at E3 is Portal 3, a game that I absolutely love. I love Portal 2. I'd love to see a next gen version of a Portal game. It's made by Valve, so I don't think it's going to be anytime soon you'll be getting a sequel to that. But another thing that I was thinking about today is something like a Daisy or a Rust has to come to console. Now, a lot of people say there's so many keys and it wouldn't work on console, but there are ways of doing it. There really are. I mean, you could hold LB or L1, whatever your console is, and then you could choose, like, when you hold that button, it could remap all the control, like all the buttons to do something else, if that makes sense. But that's something that I'd love to see, something like a good PC game come out for consoles. Yeah. Anyway, we're winding down to the end of this video. Bit of a weird gameplay. It's my absolute favourite map on this game. I can't remember what it's called. I think it comes up at the end. But here it says I got a flawless there. But if you saw the last the last thing that happened actually in the video, I got killed by a Titan. Does that make sense? It says that I didn't die at all, but never mind, I'll take it. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a rating, and I'll see you guys tomorrow for Friday's video. Take care.